Well, everything breaks down eventually. You couldn't have picked a cooler day to break down? It's a little hot to be broke down today, Dylan. Could we put this on pause till September? Yeah. Just drive something else.
I don't have nothing else to drive.
I'll find you something. And you just filled it up with gas. 37 gallons and the fuel pump died.
That's how it goes.
We going in the shop or? And cue the Saturday morning radiator replacement in a G35. Let's do it. Boop. Problem. Ooh. Drip, 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 drip. Uh-huh. Ooh. Ah. Mm. Mm. Oh. Mm. Ah. Boop. Done. 04 F-150 with the mighty 2-valve 4.6. Blew the engine, so this is its new junkyard engine that's going in here. And my throttle bodies are different from the motor we pulled because the motor we pulled is from a van. So the top of the throttle body is different from my factory one. This truck had EGR codes in it and a bunch of different vacuum manifold pressure codes and stuff. And looky here. These are the two EGR ports. They don't look like ports, but the EGR bolts here and the air is pushed back into the intake through these two channels, and they are completely just carbon built up. I mean, it's caked. Look at this. I don't think I've ever seen one quite this bad. Now I got to figure out how to get all this crap out, because you should be able to see some light through there. But yeah. Plus this collar on the back. This is what caused all of our issues. This little neck right here that cools something for the throttle body essentially, but coolant moves through it and then goes back to the intake. You can bypass these, but this is what was leaking coolant. This is what caused the truck to run hot. This is what blew the engine. This little collar right here is on the back of the throttle body, way back up in there, and it was leaking down into the valley through the holes in this intake and leaking down into here. And with all the covers and stuff on it, you couldn't see it. You just knew you had a coolant leak, or you didn't until it was too late, like this poor truck suffered because of that. So this little collar blew this engine, and it's now having to have all this work. And you can bypass these. You don't even have to have this. You can just loop this together from here to here, and bam, she will run perfectly fine. And that could have been done, but it wasn't. So let's get this shit cleaned out. People, please be careful who you take your car to have it worked on. Make sure it's a reputable dealer or a mechanic shop that you trust, or if you take it to someone you know, make sure they're not gonna, half-ass nothing. This little 05 Kia Optima is one from our car lot. It went out for sale. It was sold. The individual bought it. They took it and had some brakes put on it during the time that they have owned it and been paying for it. The place that worked on it lost these caliper bracket bolts that you see here when they were doing the brake job. So they found some random bolts that were the same thread, but one, they weren't hardened, and two, they were too long. So they used these oversized nuts right here as a spacer in between the bolt and the caliper bracket to take up the slack in the bolt. Well, that's not going to work. And so what happened was they started to back out. There was no Loctite or anything on them either. The bolt, after it backed out, allowed the caliper to come forward and hit the inside of the wheel, gouging the wheel. I mean, there's chunks of aluminum sticking out. I just broke a piece off all the way around the wheel. And so it chewed the wheel up. This caused the wheel to lock up. It kept binding the wheel up. They didn't have this hose in the bracket where it goes, and so it started to rub not only a hole in the brake line, but in the CV axle boot, and began slinging grease all over the inside of the wheel well and all over the inside of the rim. So I had some spare parts. Like I said, Dad's gone to get a new brake line for this car now, and a new axle, because we're going to change that. And like I said, I found the correct caliper bolts, so they're in there. But yeah, all this could have been avoided. Now they had to pay a tow, a shop fee, and of course our labor to make it right. But there are still people out there that will half-ass stuff if you're not watching them. So just make sure you take your car somewhere decent. All this could have been avoided. They could have went to Kia and bought the new bolts for about $10 a piece. And that sounds a little expensive, but the rollback charge alone was $60 to get it here. So, and now they've got to pay us. Y'all want to go for a cold start on the old Mercedes? I tried to get the hood open to prime the injection pump, but the hood latch broke, so it won't come up any higher than that. So let's just jump right into it, shall we? This thing features a diesel engine with 378,000 miles. It is a turbo diesel. Oh, we still got power. Turn the key on, turn our glow plugs on, and we'll wait for that light to go out. And the light's out, so we'll cycle it off, back on one more time, and it's out. So let's crank it. Wow, look at that. The tach doesn't work, but it's running. And this thing's been sitting for a while. Listen to her go. Ready for the open road again. Only in the country will you get stuck behind a man walking his horse with his pick-em-up truck. We just trying to make it to the farm. And funny enough, I passed him here the other day, and he was doing the same thing. Got his little horse. There's a little leash. You can see it between the truck. And he just walking the horse home. I don't know if the horse keeps getting out or what, but he just walking it home at 6 miles an hour. Yeehaw. Anyone else do this with gas stations? So like, dead ass about to run out of gas, just past a gas station because I don't like that one. So you keep going. And then about 2 miles later, you pass this one. Just nope, not that one. You're just driving around at this point, apologizing to your shit box like, yeah, I know, I'm sorry, but we can't stop at that one either. Ugh. Come on, girl. I know your gas gauge is a little off, but we're almost there. Oh, no. We're going to turn the air off, try to save a little bit more gas. And right behind the fireworks stand that pops up because it's 4th of July, you take a left. Here we are. The good place. There we go. Only the best for my shit box. $35. Full tank. The sad things about living in the country is that it's slowly not becoming the country anymore. So all this used to be open farmland through here is turning into suburbia, as you can see. Still going. Yeah, that's right. Yep. rows and rows of these little half-ass built houses. I swear they can build a whole house in 3 days, throw it together, power, water, electricity, and it's just a slab. It's just sitting on a concrete slab. You've got no crawl space or nothing, you know? So we'll see in 20 years, 30 years or so how these things have held up. But yeah, if you've got 3 acres of land, a developer comes in, buys it, puts 9 houses on it. It's just what's slowly happening. So just another reason to don't sell your family farm kind of thing, you know? Oh well. Goodbye, America. Good morning, TikTok. It's early as crap. And I got a phone call 10 minutes ago from my brother Tim. He's like, hey, what are you doing? Do you know how to work a Slim Jim? And it didn't occur to me at first. I'm thinking about the snack, and I'm like, what? Turns out he locked his keys in his car. And his car is running in his driveway for the last hour and 20 minutes. So here we go to see if we can't get his door open before he runs out of gas. So here we are to his Chrysler Aspen. And the keys are in the ignition over there. And the engine is running. And it's playing music. It's played every CD in his changer, and all the doors are locked. And so I brought my keys for my Dodges, and I've been trying to wiggle them, hoping maybe one of them would work. And we got a coat hanger, so let's get this done. And we're in. Ruined a radio antenna and a coat hanger. And I was able to push